Yo, 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 welcome to episode 22 of the Elite Wrestling Club podcast, where we explore individuals' dreams and the unwavering persistence to achieve them on and off the mat. Hi, I'm your host, Lance Runyon, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for another inspiring episode. In this episode, we will be going behind the scenes with NCAA national champion, former UNI Panther, and current assistant coach for the UNI Panthers, Drew Foster. We will share personal stories and valuable insights, and we're excited to bring you a fascinating conversation that will inspire and motivate you to chase your dreams and achieve greatness, both on and off the mat. So without further ado, let's welcome Drew Foster and dive into the Elite Wrestling Club podcast world.
Here we go, my man, Lance.
Let's go, bro. I appreciate you coming on here. I've been wanting to get you on here for a while, that's for sure. Been a huge mentor and friend for me, so
he chose Sunday Night Football, so
I know Cowboys are winning though, at least. At least they're not losing. I got you in a good mood right now, so
we're in them good spirits.
Yeah, I just got done watching your wedding video that you guys posted. That's pretty sweet.
Yep. We actually had I guess it was a Valley guy do it, Joe Thiel. So shout out to Joe. He did a really good job. He's been doing little Instagram reels of it, and then he sent us our video, so he crushed it.
Yeah, I like the transitions and stuff. I was like, dang, I need to get in contact with whoever's doing that. I need to learn from him a little bit. It's pretty cool. So right now, I mean, if you want to just give a little rundown of what you've been doing, obviously, you know, last year you stepped into that PWC coaching job, and this year you're looking to move over to the assistant coaching position. So
yeah, so I mean, I've been stepping into a different role with coaching, right, and it's definitely different than competing, that's for sure, in a good way. I mean, there's a lot of crossover, but you know, one of the harder things is just like feeling that itch, seeing certain things every day, and just but I mean, yeah, currently, man, I married as of a couple weeks, you know, and getting into this coaching scene. So it's been really good. Learning along the way. There's so much to learn. Just even the other day, just you know, cleaning up mats with Doug, just asking little tiny questions that, you know, as an athlete you don't think are super important, but in the coaching world, I would say they're pretty important. So, you know, I'm just trying to be a sponge and soak everything up that I can. And, you know, I'm lucky enough to be in a program where there's a lot of good coaches and guys with good experience. And, you know, they've done some pretty incredible things with not as much comparably to bigger universities. And I think that says a lot to who they are and the type of coaches they are and what they, you know, you give them the resources, what they could really do.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about one of the tenets that Doug really instills into this program, being coachable as a coach. You know, always wanting to learn, always wanting to improve. And what a better guy to learn from than Doug Schwab, Randy, Roper, B-Rob, you know, Cruz, all those guys that you've been surrounded with for, you know, what, 8 or 9 years now?
It's been a long time. So, I got up here in 2014. So it's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit. About time you step into that coaching role. I mean, you got a lot of the experience. You know, you've had some good influences, obviously, but you know, national champ. That, you know, that's not something that everybody can say that they've achieved, and you being able to achieve that and now use that just experience of being there as a coach. I think you've been at the top. You know, you've competed against guys like David Taylor, Jaden Cox, some of the best guys in the world, and you're one of the best guys in the world, in my opinion. One of the best guys I've ever seen, touched,
Appreciate it.
And no, it's awesome getting to learn from you. But I guess I was just wondering how you think your background and your personal experiences are going to influence your coaching style and how they already have.
I would say just my kind of my journey is something I take a lot of pride in. It wasn't your typical like, I don't know what you call them in wrestling, really, like your 5-star recruit, your this and that, your
Blue chip.
yeah, wasn't necessarily supposed to do this or do that, and really had to work for things along the way, and I take a lot of pride in that, and I the people that I was surrounded by really helped me along the way too. So like I want to be that resource to others, and do it in my own way too, right? I'm kind of like a jokester, keep it pretty light. Uh, I can obviously be serious, but I'm gonna joke around quite a bit. But I think that's just kind of my personality, and certain people it resonates with, um, and others, right? There's like just even going out to Vegas, there's like certain guys where I'm like, man, you guys probably want to be more serious than, and I can be serious, but there might be someone else that is better to be around pre-match than myself. Um, so that, I'm trying to share my experience of, man, I wasn't necessarily, the best guy coming out, but by the senior year, I was competing with the best guys, and moving forward, I was competing with the top guys, some of the top guys in the world. So just to be able to share my journey on the way, and my experiences, and what I learned, some of my mistakes along the way, things that I could have done better, resources I could have used or wish I would have had that are available to to guys like you now, um, and then just it's a work in progress too. So it's not gonna be like perfect right now doing individuals and stuff. I'm like, it's pretty crazy. You got guys that are really believing in you, and what you're sharing, what you're showing, and they're trusting you in their journey, and it really means a lot, right? And so like they look at you, and I'm like, almost like want to turn my shoulder and like look to someone else, um,
Yep.
so building my coaching confidence along the ways is I think is going to continue to be a thing. Just trusting that I know what I'm talking about through my experiences, and be able to tell someone straight up like, hey, with 100% confidence, this is what I believe in. I hope this can help you. You know.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I talked to B Rob about a little bit before, just like how do you step into that coaching role? He's like, you gotta be really confident in yourself and know that like the things that you've been through, the things that you've picked up, the lessons you've had along the way are gonna impact and inspire these athletes that you're gonna be working with. So I mean that's super important. And obviously, for the people that don't know, you got quite a few Canadians that are in and out of the room right now, training with PWC and you specifically. Um, so it's pretty cool if you want to talk a little bit about Nishan and those guys and what your experience has been like so far
Hey.
working with them.
No, it's been really good. I was fortunate in 2019 to go to Beat the Streets. And while I was there, I needed a warm up partner. I should, I would have probably warmed up with Randy, but Nishan actually needed a warm up partner as well. So we were able to meet, warm each other up. Not really either of us have a great performance, so to speak. But because of that, that's one of those things. Wrestling gives you some pretty cool opportunities. I think sports in general do. But right, we were able to form a friendship, and through that friendship, he was able to get down here a couple times and eventually join the PWC. And so I've been able to work with him a lot, as a as a peer, as a friend, as a coach. I think there's a lot of trust between the both of us, and what he's doing and where he's headed. I mean, I believe in that guy, and what he's capable of. And man, when you get to the a certain level, it's even in college as well. It's such small little details, that can make or break you, I guess, right? Um, and even just the transition to freestyle. There's it's just a little bit different, right? little focuses,
Yeah.
little approaches that are a little bit different. So it's been really cool to help him in his journey, and try to get him in contact with certain people in the area, in the state, just to help him out, and help him make his world team. I mean, he's crushing Canada right now, and he's trying to crush the world. We're heading to Serbia next Friday for the World Championships. He'll wrestle Monday, Tuesday, and then after that, right, he gets top five or fifth or better. He qualifies the weight for the Olympics for Canada, and if
Heck
not,
yeah.
then right, we'll move forward from there. But that's the main goal right now. The focus is the World Championships and bringing back a medal from there.
Yeah, that'll be sweet. I mean, it's been cool seeing him develop and having him around. He's a good energy to have around too, and it's definitely different, but it's good, and especially when he brings like his cousin or
His cousin,
different people from.
Sam's been down. Right, it's cool. He's almost creating that Canadian pipeline, and I hope that's something we can
Yep.
continue to do. I think it's good for their experience and our guys' experience too. Right, it's not every day. I mean, I guess we got real Buto too, but not every day you can say, "Hey, I'm
Yep.
brushing shoulders with world team member and a guy that's going places around the world to compete, and they're bringing back their experiences." And I think when they come down here too, they get that little bit of that Iowa, the state of Iowa toughness, that little collegiate toughness. I think we pride ourselves at UNI on some like grit and just being tough. And I think that's something when they leave, they take away with them, and I think it helps separate them from the rest of their country, and hopefully it carries over into the world.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be exciting. Be sure to tune into that for anyone listening. Give some support to Nishan. I guess next thing I was gonna talk a little bit about is just your kind of goals and aspirations as a coach. Kind of something maybe you're looking to achieve in the next 5 or 10 years.
I mean, my biggest thing right away right now is to continue to learn the ropes. Obviously there's the coaching aspect of like technique, running practices, reading the room too. All right, that was something this summer that we talked about a lot. Is is this what we want out of the workout? Do we just cut it right there? Like they've hit that point where it's a solid workout, or do we need to push a little bit harder? Um, how close are we to crunch time? Figuring out kind of like fight camp, so to speak. Um,
Yep.
there's that aspect. I want to learn about the travel side. I got to do that a little bit this summer. The financial piece, the recruiting, the building the relationships. There's so much to learn. And I want to like that's my goals right now, is to learn, and like along the way, obviously keep impacting people, keep building my relationships with everybody, um, and try to help guys progress in their careers and achieve their own personal goals. Whether it's on the mat, in the classroom, there's who they become, no matter what it is, because it's different for everybody, right? So I'd
Yeah.
say those are my main current goals. Eventually, obviously, I'd like to keep climbing the ladder. I'd like to head my own program eventually, but I don't think that would be right. You want to learn everything you can to set yourself up better, to help people better when you do get that opportunity down the road. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I don't know. I know me and my wife now, we like the Midwest. We're both from the Midwest. That's where we'd like to stay, but down the road, you never know. Just as your family grows and opportunities present themselves, you never know. But I think I'm in a pretty fortunate position right now, and around some really really great people. So I like where I'm at right now.
Heck yeah. That'll be sweet. Drew Foster, head coach, baby.
Yeah, we'll have some pretty flag on the team, right?
Oh yeah. Be dripped out for sure.
All the little stuff, all niked up.
I think one of the biggest things that you've taught me, I mean, over the last, 4 years or so is just that kind of false confidence. That's one thing I really I really admire about you, and that you have been able to instill into your career through college, and then through the cycle, and probably now into coaching that you're trying to instill on your athletes. But I don't know if you want to explain it a little bit, but um, I just remember you telling me, like, guy gets a takedown on you, like, oh, he just got lucky. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
No, I think you have to have just you have to be a little bit delusional, right? You got to shape your mind a certain way, think a certain way, and not to the way of like you're making excuses for yourself. So that's where you got to, it's. I mean, when you get into coaching, you think about that kind of stuff more. Like, how do you say something and not make it come out the wrong way? But it's where you become delusionally confident, right? But where you believe in yourself so much, and it's not that you're making excuses for yourself, but you're almost like, right? I remember wrestling Hayden Zomer as a freshman. He was number 4 in the country at the time. I think he was a senior. I was a freshman. I was weighing in at 174, wrestling 84. All right, and I go out there. I get the first takedown on him. And then by the time the third period rolls around, I'm getting tacked by him. He's a top dog. But then after the fact, I get down in the tunnel. I'm doing my cool down, and I remember being down there with B-Rob, and I'm just saying, like, this guy got so lucky that he beat me. Like, and then that's just what the way I would frame stuff is. I'm like, he got so lucky that he beat me. I'm undersized. I'm young right now, man. Like, and that's the way I would kind of talk to myself about things. And really, really throughout all my time is, obviously there's times where you'd be disappointed in how you perform or whatnot. But I mean, even I'd leave a practice. I think that was one of the things I wish that we could instill in a lot of other guys. Just seeing how practices are sometimes is, man, it's practice, right? Practice is a place where you learn and grow, and you're trying to throw yourself in the fire, right? To get the reps, to
Yep.
yourself in bad positions, bad situations, and just like overcome them, right? And it's your practice, and I don't know. Sometimes people make it a bigger deal than what it is, and I get, right. You want to excel, you want to be really good, but you got to use practice as a tool, right? So like one of the things I like to say right now is like, you finish up a workout, you finish up a practice, man. You practice your champion walk afterwards. You get in that habit of as you're walking, how would you walk? How are you walking as a champion, right? Because win, lose, or draw, you want to present yourself as a champion, right? As you leave the arena, as you leave wherever you're going, um, and so like that. Not only is that how you're walking, it's how you're talking to yourself as you walk. I think Duke Schwab came in one time, and he's just talking about being your best friend, like being your own best friend, which
Yep.
you have to be, man. Like when you're in wrestling, it's tough, and life in general, it can be tough. Like you gotta pick yourself up. You can still be your own, like your biggest critic, but you have to be your best friend. So right, as I think, like, as you're cooling down, as you're walking, right, your work's done for the day, so to speak. Right, unless guys go and do extra stuff. But I try not to do my walk unless I'm doing my extra stuff done. Um, and you're talking to yourself, and you're like, hey, you're not looking. Let's say I shot 50 shots on the day and I didn't finish a single one. Do I go to the, oh man, I couldn't even get a takedown today, right? Or am I going and talking to myself saying, hey man, I got to the leg 50 times. That's one step to the equation. I got one problem solved, right? Now, as I'm being a critic, I'm like, hey, I want to work on my finishes. When I want to get my individuals in, I want to, put that time and those reps in my finish work because I'm already completed step one. I can get to the legs. How do I
Right.
shots now, right? And I was fortunate enough my freshman year to have that problem specifically, where, I mean, I'm going to the dining center after workouts with my whole right side of my face mat burned from shooting a single leg and just being stuck down there, my face just dragging across the mat. Right, I'm telling you, my whole face. That's why I got this nasty cauliflower here. Or my whole face would be red going to the dining center. It's embarrassing, right? But I'd go to the. I'm laughing, I'm joking, leaving practice, right? Because, man, for one, it's just practice. It's not a huge deal, and it's well, you got to use it as your tool. I'm like, man, I'm getting better. I got to like 10 more times this time
Right.
last week, and maybe I was a little bit closer to finishing, right? So like how you're talking to yourself is important, and then like I think that helps create your confidence, your delusional confidence, so to speak. That's the way I like to look at it, right? It starts in practice, right? You can practice it every day. When you get into the big moments, you get into matches, duels, whatever, right? You can still instill that as win, lose, or draw. You leave that mat. How can you shape your mind from that moment, right? How can you walk off as a champion? And as you're walking off, man, there's been times where I've been so like upset with myself and my performances. But as I'm walking off, I'm working at telling myself like, man, this isn't it, right? Or I did this really well, or this and that. This guy just hit you. Maybe it was his day today. Maybe his very best match ever of all time just happened to be that day against me, which sucks for me. But he gets me again, no chance. Right? He's not gonna have his best day
Right.
twice.
Yep.
You can only have your best day once.
Right.
So little things like that. I mean, that's how I was. That's kind of how I thought about things.
Before starting the episode, we want to give a shout out to our first sponsorship, the Wash Bar. Rev up your ride with the Wash Bar, nestled in Cedar Falls, Iowa at 1125 Fountains Way. The Wash Bar is your go-to destination for a car wash like no other. From a quick exterior rinse to a comprehensive full-service clean, they tailor every wash to your needs. Membership options and pay-as-you-go plans keep it flexible. Your car, your way, as often as you like. Plus, they remember your preferences for a personalized experience every time. With top-notch technology, a 24-hour self-service option, and complimentary extras. The Wash Bar is your oasis for a spotless ride. Drive in today and feel the difference. Thanks to our sponsor, the Wash Bar, where clean cars bring inner peace. No, I like that, and I feel like oftentimes, as athletes, we put people on pedestals. You know what I mean? We see the big name, or this guy has achieved this, or he's accomplished this, or whatever. He was good in high school. Who knows? Like whatever it is, and I think it's important to walk out there with that centered, that delusional confidence, because then at the end of the match, you're not sitting there going, "Man, that guy wasn't as good as I thought." You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like,
Worst feelings. Yeah, that's one of the worst feelings. You feel like I had more in me. I should have beat him. I should have been like what were you holding on to in that, in those moments prior that held you back? But I mean, how do you get to that point? Like it's a hard thing. That's why I think you got to practice it in practice. Like that's something you have to do every single day when you leave practice, and you can't in the middle of practice or like in practice, you cannot be scared to challenge yourself. Go against the top dog in practice. Go, like do a
right,
little bit, here, and then do a little bit more, and then don't be afraid to challenge yourself. I know sometimes, Doug talks about guys being scared of getting tired or holding off a little bit till the very end and then going. Man, I'd rather see someone in practice go hard for like a minute and a half than be absolutely exhausted. Right? They're exhausted after a minute and a
yeah,
half, and then now you're in the fire, right? You give it your all for a minute and a half. Maybe that's what you guys think is at the time, or you have other things going on, and that minute and a half, your limbs are like this, But then now you're in the fire, and you really have to figure it out, right? And that's part of it, and that's where your confidence can stem from because you've been there, you've done that, and like so now as you're doing your champion walk at the end, you're like, dang man, that minute and a half I was lightning. What do I need to work on? the rest of that 10 minutes or however long the go is. You know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah,
there's still something to gain from it, like mentally, and like, and they're just. I think I think that's the best way that you can instill that in yourself. Because I don't think there's been a right or a problem solver to that yet. And if there is, they're not sharing it, you know?
Right. Yeah, for sure. And like after talking to Thorpe last week, it reminded me a lot of what you're talking about. Like he's like, I would go in and get my butt kicked, but he said he like started having pride in himself because he would go, well, I know this guy's gonna ride me all practice, but how many times can I get to my feet?
Yeah.
Or at the end of practice, he'd go, well, we had 20 goes. Well, I got out one time in 50 minutes or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's like,
That's something.
exactly. And it's cool. It was cool to like relate those two now because I was like, man, Thorpe, I'm glad that you were able to like shape your perspective like that because a lot of people, it's hard. Yeah. And there's two ways, it's like, you either shape your perspective that way or it's like, man, I suck. Like I'm crushed. I go sit in the corner and cry for an hour after practice and just pout. And like you said, I mean, you got to be your own best friend. You got to pick yourself up because I mean, at the end of the day, that's who you got. That's who you're going home with. You're going home with yourself. So if you're still in your head being negative, thinking about practice, and I think that's another part of it too. It's like when you leave the room, like you gotta leave it there. You gotta leave it at the door.
Oh,
When you
100.
show up tomorrow, that's a new you.
Yeah. I think some people, I was, and I don't think there's necessarily a right way or a wrong way to approach it because I think for each individual it's different.
Yeah.
Um, I was always wanting still to this day where, and it's gonna shift the more I coach now. I got to bring wrestling home a little bit more, but man, my time spent like I took pride in the work I would do while I was at West Gym. Right there was a lot of lift, right, wrestling. Um, Maybe I was meeting with Ken. You don't know what it was or having. If I was there, that was like I'm at work, right? This is what I'm pouring into. This is I'm not saying I was punching the time clock, but I'm like I'm gonna crush this. When this is done, I'm walking out of here and I feel good. I feel good about what I just did in there, right? And I mean, I could get my ass beat for 20, 30 minutes, and I'm like, man, I'm so good. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a little how I
Yeah.
talk to myself still, but man, like you got to understand too. Not every day is your best day. Not every
Yeah.
day.
I mean, that's what I was like. I really like that too because you walk out and okay, well, today wasn't my best day. It doesn't mean tomorrow can't. It has to not be my best day too. You know what I mean? It can be a new day, and I like what you said too. Like leaving your work at work. Like when I walk into West Gym, like that's my job for the day. Like when I leave there, I got a different job. I got school or relationship or cooking dinner, like whatever it is. Now that you want to put your pride or your passion into, like I go take it somewhere else. I leave the wrestling at West Gym, your place of work, and move on from there.
No, that's good. I was fortunate enough to be. I had wrestling roommates, but later on in my career, they'd moved on or they were older than me, and or whatnot, and so I got back a lot. I mean, there were times in my roommates they're like partying and stuff, and I'm, you know what I'm saying? So like, it was great. It was
Yeah,
great for me and my personality. Or I'm not going to necessarily recommend that to guys, but it was great for me and my personality to be able to socialize and not. I'm not like during season. I did not party, but I was around it, right? So I would be socializing with my roommates, with other friends coming in and out, and it was good for me to like help me make it easier for me to leave everything at West Gym. I'm kicking. We're watching football. We're talking crap to each other, playing video, whatever it was, playing yard games, video games, just hanging out. And
right.
for some people, it's other things. You're right. I think a lot of guys right now they're big in like video games and whatnot. But uh, yeah, that was so like man, I'm really appreciative of my roommates and just they I think way back when I won, they felt that pride in that moment too, which meant a lot to me. But they were just as much a part of it as I was and everyone else was. Like, so
Right, because they almost like helped you
oh,
step away, step out of that.
and they helped me with so much more than that too. But
Yeah,
like, man, I think you haven't asked this or anything, but started rambling and thinking of other things. But I think one of the best things or best feelings about winning was seeing everyone's reactions. Right, the people I really care about, the people that mean a lot to me, seeing how they felt about that. They felt like they were there. They felt the same like emotions that I felt. That was one of the
yep,
coolest things to me, because it just goes to show that it is everyone as everyone is a part of that moment. Um, and I mean that's directly related to wrestling. But you think about getting promotions, getting a good job, getting a good education. Like, there's so many people that impact you along the way, that to look back on, I was like in that moment, right? So many people were able to share that with me, right? You don't necessarily get that when you get a promotion, you get a new job, you don't get that same kind of thing. So like for me, that was such an awesome thing, awesome to have those reactions of the people that mean a lot to me. And man, it was some people I didn't talk to in like 5-6 years, and it's like, dang, they're still following along like this and like feeling
right.
they're, man, I got kids club parents that I haven't been around since high school and middle school that are crying in their living rooms, you know, and like it's like I'm
Yeah,
sitting on the plane, I'm just like tearing up myself. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's I think that's one of the best feelings, and it allowed me to like take a lot of pride in just who I had become throughout time. And it was yeah, that was the coolest thing about that moment.
yeah, and I mean, you even said it in your post match interview. You know, this is bigger than me. This is the Panther train,
Yeah,
right? And being able to, and even beyond that, right? That's what you're talking about. Like people you grew up with, like friends that you had when you were probably 5 or 6 years old. I mean, their families are watching. They're like,
yeah.
"Holy cow!" You know.
It's
So it's definitely cool. It's sweet to think about and
no,
have those.
to bring it back to coaching, man. That's something I want for everyone to experience, to feel, to have that. And I know how hard it is, and how sometimes things gotta just fall in your favor and whatnot. Um, but that's part of it, and man, you just gotta be ready to seize the moment and take advantage of it. Um, but and I think we something like to realize too, like for everyone, is your national tournament might not be the legitimately the NCAA national tournament. Your national tournament can be looking anything and everything. I think of like a guy like Byrne, like, man, who knows what his national tournament maybe it was just being able to be around everybody, to be part of the Panther train, to be a part of the team and have an impact, because he was making an impact on everyone. High energy guy, getting
Yeah.
stuff. Man, there's so many people along the way, but I mean, I got so many buddies that, man, I got a buddy who's has a kid on the way. I'm like that. Maybe that's his national, his mini national. Maybe that's his Big 12s. Who knows what that is?
Yep.
There's so many things that it could be.
Oh yeah, that's cool to think about too. Like, and I mean, yeah, a guy like Vern's a good example because he really took a lot of pride in what he did and the work that he did. Wanted to make sure he was always
Oh, he's on top of
there
it.
for people. Yeah, and going back to when you said having a lot of luck in your favor, that takes me to one of my favorite Bible verses just recently that I've been reading when I read through Proverbs. But Proverbs 16:33 says, "We may throw the dice, but the Lord determines how they fall."
That's good.
It's like, we got to control what we can control. I
Yeah,
think that's something you were really good at. You know. I remember, I think I was at the Iowa State duel and you lost to Cobre a couple weeks later. You're in the national finals. I mean,
It is what
you
it
had
is.
to, exactly, but that goes back to your mindset. You know what I mean? And your perspective. It's like that duel wasn't going to determine how my Big 12s goes or how my national tournament goes. Like I can be a completely different person by then.
Yep.
So,
Man, yeah. I could have said I had this nasty disease going on. Who knows?
exactly. I mean, how do you know? How do you know what could have been going on?
No, but
Anything could have been going on.
no, that was well, the cool thing about that, it was so bittersweet, man. A lot because that was my senior night, right? So I lost my senior night match, but then Isley comes in super clutch and clutches the duel. I think Grimmel rode him out, then he rode Grimmel out, and then I don't know what it came. I don't know what it was after that. I'm like, but we won. I don't know if he got the takedown or if it came down to like a riding time. I don't know what it came down to, but he got it done, and that place was wow. I think I shared a clip the other day of the roar of the crowd. That was the loudest that might be the loudest like anything I've ever like heard or just like everything was just like you know?
Yeah, no, it was nuts. It was nuts. That was peak West Gym too.
that,
Like
that
that was right, before COVID, where like we didn't have it was only half the spectators or whatever.
yeah
I mean,
that was awesome.
it was there was people literally that was like standing room like that
Yeah,
duel,
yeah, and I hope they're
and
shit
I
talk.
think.
No, actually,
Yeah,
hold on.
there's definitely.
I got actually this is freaking hilarious. So I didn't mean to bring this as a prop either. It's just sitting here because me were cleaning today. But my brother just finished what do you call it? The academy for like sheriffs, right? Sheriff's Academy in Des Moines, and so
Yep.
they do shooting and target practice stuff. And one day he sends me this. You see that whole thing? You see all the holes in that?
Yeah.
That was their target practice one day. It was a freaking. He sends me that he sent me that and he goes, you gotta send this to Doug, you gotta give Doug this. So I thought it was pretty funny. I'm like, how do you guys get
So
that?
we
Most of the aims about
yeah we need to be expecting a picture of that or something like before the duel this year.
Yeah, we have to frame it up and hang it up or something. Especially when we get the
Yeah,
job.
I was hanging out in Ames. I went down to the UNI Iowa State game. I got a buddy on the team down there, but they were like, "Hey, what's it like? Like, what's it like the week leading up to the Iowa State UNI duel? Like, how is Schwab? You know what I mean?" They were like asking me how he is and like kind of like the beef, like the good beef that him and like Dresser started to really hype up the duels, you know? And
They
I
do
was
like
like,
friendly chirping, but
no, yeah, and that's kind of what I told him. I'm like, Doug doesn't really say anything to us. He basically just says like, "Hey, like whatever you see online, like it doesn't really matter. It's just like a friendly chirp kind of thing." You know what I mean? But then he's like sitting there like doing his little
yeah, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Keep your head down.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my hands down on that one.
Yeah. He might. I'm sure he's probably asking Bob what to say on Twitter sometimes.
Oh yeah, he probably is for sure. Yeah. One other thing of like after your national title, I remember seeing a video of you at Ninja U. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
They let you go in there and run that concourse after.
So
If you want to talk a little bit about that.
that was like they were just like getting going, like their business was, and it's ran by a couple like former track athletes. I think one was actually a national champion. I might be wrong, like pole vaulting. I might
Oh
be wrong.
really?
Yeah, but I don't know for sure. But so yeah, they invited me, and I got to bring. I think I brought Bisco and Gable with me to go do it, and I was expecting a little bit, like some of the things that we did, like I thought they would be a little bit harder than what they were, and I was like this thing, I don't know what it's called, but with the bar, that was like surprise. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
that was obviously this. I mean, I'm longer, taller, so like the swinging, jumping kind of stuff was easier. I was terrible at this thing, whatever. That's what they used to do. I think of like old school wrestling practices, and like they're like finish up where
Like
they,
the pegboards?
yeah, doing that. I was so bad at that. But then, like even like the wall thing, like the trick to that is you just don't run full speed and probably be a little bit taller. But but now, I mean, they're like crushing it. They're doing good. Their business is doing good. They've had a couple like people actually go to like American Ninja Warrior and do very well
Yeah.
there. So that's sick. I should have just
Yeah.
probably.
Well, I mean, you're a good enough athlete to do pretty much whatever you want to do, so.
Well, yeah, that's why I've been asked if I played football. I said I'd be in the NFL right now, so I should have just done it.
Right.
That's kind of my delusional confidence. I felt that, and that's probably like super delusional, but I felt that if I put my mind and time into something, that I could really succeed in it. That's how I feel about most things. Maybe not like building a pool or stuff like that, but enough time probably.
Before continuing with today's episode, we want to give a shout out to our second podcast sponsor, Mulligan's Brick Oven. Savor unforgettable flavors at Mulligan's Brick Oven. Whether you're in the energetic pub or the tranquil East Wing, you're in for a treat. Their brick oven pizzas and inventive pub fare cater to all tastes, and their extensive beer menu perfectly complements every dish. Open late, Mulligan's is your go-to spot for great food and good times. Find them between 18th Street and the Cedar Prairie Trail. Mulligan's Brick Oven, where every bite is an adventure. Thank you for joining us at Mulligan's Brick Oven, Pizza, Grill, and Pub. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, dodgeball champ, dang near every year.
Yeah,
So,
no arm last year, about got her done.
yeah, literally one armed. You're doing like the spinning throws and just like underhand, like little whips.
That was
Oh,
that.
yeah, that was.
That's why, honestly, like seeing Brock Purdy play today, that's like so impressive. I don't understand how he is slinging a football. Like, dude,
He probably got stem cells or something.
there's a couple times I accidentally threw. I was like, dude, there's no way. And that was at like month 6, 7. I'm like, there's no way this guy can throw right now. But he did good.
NFL will make it happen though. It's a business.
Yeah, that's true.
They aren't worried about the longevity. They're worried about how much money they can make right now.
They're keeping his contract small while they can't. That's probably why they wanted banged up, so they can't re-sign.
Yeah, for sure. I guess a couple more questions. What do you define as success, and how has it changed over the years?
Of success. I think, which is kind of like who you are, who you're becoming. I think that's always kind of been the biggest thing to success for me. Um, Even like growing up, right? The way you act, who you are, those kind of things have always been very important to me. I think my parents did a good job of instilling that. And me, and I was right coming to UNI. I was around good role models that helped that, even when I was being an idiot at times, right? That get back on track. To what the ultimate goals are. So that's what I would say. How I would define success, right? You obviously want to achieve the accolade. You want to have the accolades. You want to achieve your goals. But I think one of the better things that I shifted my like focus to. I know my junior year I really like struggled with having to felt like I had to perform to a certain level and be this or be that because I had previously All American, and
Right.
that was like a weighing thing on me. And then going into my senior year, my biggest thing was just like the effort. the effort of it, being able to take pride in the work, and leaving it on the mat. So like win, lose or draw, like when I say, you know, you walk off like a champion, you truly take pride in the product. And man, you're obviously going to be bummed about taking a loss. Like there's something wrong with you if you aren't. Like you might
Yeah.
be your competitor if you don't, you know, get upset about that. But man, how you handle it, I mean, when you can take pride in the work, it makes it easier to be your best friend. You know, to talk to yourself the right way. So that's what I would encourage people to do is, and I think Doug does a good job of like, just, you know, effort. It's a lot of things are effort focused. But I know like when you're in the thick of it, right? When you need reminders, you go out of bounds, you look at the scoreboard, and maybe it's really not in your favor. You don't put your head down, man. You bring it back to effort, and then man, you can accomplish a lot with that.
Yeah, I mean, is that what you mean by pride? I guess is knowing that you put your all into it,
Yeah,
like
that's what I would.
100% effort.
Yeah. I mean, there's pride in
Okay.
it. You gave it your all. You didn't put your head down. You didn't cower away from it. You know, when you got to a challenging point in the moment, what did you do? How did you react? Did you know, was your tail between your legs? Hold on one sec. Sorry. Was your tail in between your
Very
legs? Like,
good.
I mean, there's so much, and it can be different for each person. But I mean, that was one of my big things. Was, man, I put forth my best effort, and I didn't back down. Right, I didn't doubt myself. I didn't, you know, like I, no matter what, I thought I had a chance like that. And especially when you're in wrestling, it's like MMA. You should never think you're out of anything. When you can have a knockout blow, you can in wrestling. Your knockout was getting a pin. When you have that, you cannot count yourself out of anything. Like so, like there should be an ultimate confidence, right? Like you right now, you're the Giants against the Cowboys, and you're down 40 points to 0. Right? Maybe there's not really a chance. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's a different thing. And you know, if I'm them, and I'm sure their coaches are preaching it right now, it's hey, let's get some of our new stuff put in there. Let's try to run, you know, our 2-minute offense, our hurry up offense, our get this kind of system. Maybe get these guys some reps. Let's feel this out. Get the reps in there. We're probably not winning this game, but right, because they're not a knockout blow in football. There's not like, hey, you kick 100-yard field goal
Yeah. But how can we set ourselves up for the next
for
game,
the
like
future. Yeah,
already in this game?
yeah. And that's, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of there's showed a fan on there shaking his head.
I like that a lot. Just that ultimate confidence that you're talking about, giving it your all and not backing down, man. But hey, wasn't there a team a few years? I don't know if it was the Patriots or not, but they were down like 30 at half or something, came back and won.
Oh, against the Falcons, yeah, the Patriots to the Falcons.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, yeah, all them Falcons fans. Alex Green, Falcons fan. Who else? Goalhoffer, is he a Falcons fan? He's probably not. He's
I don't know.
kind of about sports teams. I just learned
Yeah,
fans
I'm not sure.
won.
What do you say?
I just learned he's a Braves fan once they won. Because
Yeah, and he's a Crimson Tide fan too, Alabama.
yeah, and the last 2 years he was Georgia though, right?
I mean, that's where he's from. I don't know why he'd
I'm just
be
teasing.
cheering for Alabama. But what are a couple things that you've improved upon this year, and a couple things that you're still working on?
That I've improved upon. Um, what like I would say like my like coaching wise, is that what you're saying?
I mean, whatever area, life, coaching.
I
Yeah.
mean, I guess I mean my wife would say I need to work on my cleaning a little bit better, like spraying the tables and using the paper towel like a little damp. Nah, but I don't know. That's what have I done well or gotten better at? I don't know. Speaking up a little bit, you know.
There you go. Yeah.
That, I've gotten better. I think there's still room for improvement, but, just as you get older, you have to, just speak up for like things for yourself a little bit, which is a hard thing. I mean, you come from I think wrestlers are very like, and that goes back to like the prideful thing where you don't want to ask for things, you don't want to do this or that. But I think it's good to um, be able to speak up for yourself. I mean, even in like prayer, that's what you're supposed to do that in prayer. And like, it's a hard thing to do, right? But like God says to, like pray and ask for
Right. Yeah. Like,
of it. And
yeah.
It's hard, but I think that's good for everyone. And it's not like obvious, not like, dang, like, hey, can you give me this new truck? Can you give me this, like this and that? Like it's things you put time into and you work for, that you feel like you deserve, like truly deserve, being able to speak up for those things and whatever else.
No, that's good. That's good. No, I like that a lot. For sure. Um, let's say, what advice would you give to young wrestlers? What's
I
one
mean,
piece of advice?
um, it's probably the same like universally. It's just like, man, try to enjoy it. Um, and like that's almost a little negative. Like try to enjoy it, like it's like something that's not enjoyable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like
Yeah.
I think wrestling's like the best sport. And that's just, I mean, I haven't played every sport. I've played a lot of sports, but it's the best sport for teaching you life lessons and like the hardships of life, and being able to like just maneuver through things and deal with things. Um, so like if you can learn to like enjoy that process through wrestling and like find the bright spots when it does get gloomy, I think it's going to be really rewarding in the long run. I think you'll be proud of who you are and like you'll be able to tackle a lot of different things in life. Um, right when you get into relationships, you get into hard decisions, you get into like whatever else. I can't think of stuff off the top of my head, but when you can flow with things, but still take initiative in those moments to like get things done, to get right, like whether your family's in like a financial struggle, whether your family's like just lost a loved one, um, right? Who knows what it could be? Maybe you're dealing with an injury, like in your case, right? How can you better prepare yourself? I mean, you got to try it. You find the enjoyment in those dark times to that will propel you in your future. Um, and then I mean the other thing, which is man, just work hard, right? Work hard. A lot of the world today doesn't know how to like work hard and like take ownership of that hard work. Um, man, like we want the like instant gratification, the instant like success, and
Yep.
you can't have that all the. I mean, sometimes you're gonna have it, like just it's gonna happen sometimes, but um, I don't know. It's more meaningful when you have to put the work in and you can grind for something. You take so much more pride in that and like the product that is presented. Um, and it's more pure, I guess, too. Like I don't know, you take time to build something, right? My dad used to build homes. Man, he took so much pride in the work and like it reflected in just his business opportunities, going forward, and the word of mouth along the way. Like, man, you work hard and you take ownership for it, man. You make a mistake, you take ownership for it. And
Yep.
like, that's just a way. I think those are, and I think wrestling is a sport, right? So like, I mean, that's kind of like to everyone, but like wrestling specifically, like you put yourself in that position to have those kind of things in a lesser form. Uh, so
Yeah. I mean, you talk just about ownership in itself. I mean, you're the only one out there competing. Yeah, there's a lot of things that goes into it, but like at the end of the day, it's on you.
it's
If
on
you
you.
don't speak up, like you were talking about, you don't speak up, get the things that you need.
Yeah.
Nobody. I mean, you know what I
No,
mean? Like
if no one knew, yeah.
if no
So
one knew, how are you gonna get the things that you need to be successful or to try and get to the level that you want to be at.
Exactly.
So, yeah, usually I finish up with a couple like quick questions, just rapid fire. But I want to get your opinion on the 3-point takedown. What do you think?
3-point takedown. If I had that, my shape would have looked even better.
Get on top, get that claw in.
I would have scored a lot more points. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I get the move, like, to try to, increase activity, increase like the points, like more points looks cooler. But I mean, I think it's gonna look the same. Like the wrestling is gonna look the same.
Right.
I think I heard someone say, like, I think maybe was it Tim Flynn or something like that, where he said the good guys are gonna win regardless, or I don't know who said that, but like that's probably true. But like,
Yeah.
it's crazy to like look back at the past matches and like how much different they would look. But in that same breath, you would wrestle the match differently if that were the case.
Right.
So
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it until it happens. I guess until we start seeing matches and how they shape up. If it increases activity or does it make people protect more? I don't want to
Yeah.
give up these 3 points. That's so crazy. I think, but like I think people are going to continue to wrestle the way they wrestle. But it's like, I mean, it's like my opinion of freestyle a little bit. Right? I don't think there's
Mm-hmm.
like risks necessarily in freestyle wrestling at the moment. Right? Just with, I think people hold off a little bit just because of the threat of exposure. Right? So you want to be more crisp and precise with your attack. So, but it's like super high level wrestling. But for the wrestling fan, I think that's why viewership's kind of down too, like compared to folk style. It's like these guys 1-to-1 at times, like, but if they don't truly understand wrestling, it's not 1-to-1 looks different to me, for me and you, than it does to someone that's just walking by in the street. Like, what? And I think that's the
Yeah.
thing too with the 3-point takedown. You see 14 to 12, you're like, dang. But
This is an action-packed match.
yeah, and like, and it's probably going to look the same as what it did before, but the points are going to look different. But like action wise, it's going to look the same. So, but yeah, I don't know how to look. You just got to watch it. And I don't know, like, if it's a failure, I don't think it'll be a failure. But do they go back to the 2-point takedown? Do they let it ride for a little bit? But I like that. Uh, the committee is trying to like just promote wrestling more and help it grow, and like, so like
Right.
it's for a good purpose or good cause. There's good reasoning behind it. So hopefully it pans out well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the intentions are good. It's just going to be interesting, and like the transition. It's like even me growing up. I mean, a takedown's been 2 points for how long? It's just going to be weird. Like even that, who's number one? Thorpe mentioned last week. He's like, everyone was yelling 2 every takedown, and it was 3.
That,
But
that'd be good. There'd be some good celebrations. I mean, we could get some good bench celebrations, honestly, for some cool 3-point takedowns or like a
yeah,
beater
for
for
sure,
me. End of the
for
period,
sure.
be some. I mean, it's like, I mean, you can't really do much with 2. The 3,
No,
there's some sellies out there for the 3 that I guess have already been done. I actually saw a pretty
three-peat.
I saw a pretty funny. This is just off topic completely, but I saw a video of this Oklahoma guy. They threw a ball out of bounds. His dad, like, he catches this out of bounds ball, pulls it down, acts like he cracks up here or something. Just
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
that was a good one. That was off topic as crap, but
No, I don't care. What's your favorite place to eat in Cedar Falls?
favorite place to eat. I'm big on Pablo's. I get the chicken quesadilla there. Um, outside of Cedar, like if we go to Waterloo though, there's this it's a Mexican restaurant slash convenience store. I don't know what it's called for sure. Jamie knows, but their steak tacos are phenomenal. So talking Cedar Valley, that might top Pablo's actually, but it's a thick competition, but that place is good. I can't think of what's like El Catron. I don't know, something like that.
I think I might have had it one time at the museum. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called though.
It looks like you walk in and you gotta it's like a grocery store and you gotta walk a little bit deeper in there. And there's a counter for food and whatnot to order.
Dang, I'm gonna have to check that out. So obviously, favorite sports team is the Cowboys. I don't know if you had any other ones.
I'm not really. I guess I like the Chicago Blackhawks. We said the number one guy, Bedard, in the draft. So hopefully that revives us. Other than that, I like to follow athletes. I guess I was a big Dwayne Wade fan. I like D Book right now for NBA. Ever since D Wade retired, I'm a LeBron guy when it comes to the debate.
Really?
Yeah. My argument is, I mean, I was born in '96, man. I never truly saw Michael Jordan play basketball. So, in my opinion, if you never saw them play, how could they be, the GOAT?
Right. Yeah.
That's my, because you really get to
that makes sense.
So I like to kind of call people out on that when they, it's easy to watch highlights and be like, oh man, this person's so good. But
yeah, that's what I highlight clips for.
Right, exactly. And like Tavon Austin is the best college player of all time if you do that. I don't know if you know who Tavon Austin is.
No, I don't.
His YouTube video highlight West Virginia is one of the best highlights.
All right.
Reggie Bush is the best college football player of all time, though. If you want my honest.
He's good. Yeah, that was my next question. Favorite athlete?
My favorite athlete of all time?
Yeah.
Dang, I don't know. It might be Reggie Bush.
Really?
I was a really big Reggie Bush fan growing up. It's not a wrestling athlete. I never watched wrestling growing up. So
Yeah.
if I had to choose a favorite wrestler at the moment, I'd probably choose JB is one of my favorites. After like just meeting him and being able to train with him a little bit, like just what you see is what you get, man. He's just a world class dude, down to earth. This guy. He was asking me questions about stuff. I'm like, dude, why are you asking me this? At the time, I was like, come on, man, like, why are you asking for my opinion in this? But I was a fan of him when I was younger, and then obviously to be able to be around him a little bit, it was like, man, it just makes you more of a fan of him.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
what's your favorite video game?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
I still dabble a little bit. One of the top teams out there when it comes to pro-am.
Pretty fire.
Yeah,
pretty fire.
The streaming thing. Make it big time.
What's your favorite song right now?
My favorite song?
Right now.
Gosh dang, dude. I don't know, man. I've been playing this. Hold on. What's it called? So sometimes I like
Diamond.
It's Diamonds. No, that's not right now. What is it? I've been playing this. Jamie really likes NLE Choppa. It's getting hot. I've been liking.
Okay.
What is this one? Slang That Iron by Melly. I kind of like that one. I've been playing it a lot. I get on like random trends, and then picture me grapping by NLE Choppa.
Picture me.
That's
grapping.
what I've been listening to, kind of like when I'm just cruising around, because we're going to Mac Club now, so it's legit like a song length drive. So,
yeah,
those are two that I've kind of put on. But honest, I don't really have a favorite gym right now. It's sad.
Talk to me nice. The game that was last year that you had that for a little while.
Really? At the game at Meek Mill. I like Meek Mill. I had a friendship, man, that was ruined because of Meek Mill and Drake. But we're back now. My boy Eric. Once they made amends, we became friends again. So
That's hilarious.
yeah, big Meek Mill guy. If I had to choose my
And
favorite
then
artist is Kanye.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
All time. I like Kanye.
For sure. And then what's your favorite home cooked meal?
Home cooked meal? A home cooked meal. Dang. I don't know. It has to have. It's probably gonna be chicken of some sort. I'm gonna have a twice baked potato. If you've never had one, try one. One of the best, especially Hy-Vee's twice baked potatoes. Those ones are just no. I'm telling you, the Hy-Vee ones are just a little bit better than everywhere else. I think they use a different cheese. I'd probably go some green beans, the like French style. You know what French style green beans are? Right, they're not they're
Yep.
like baked up a little bit more. And then I have to have a dessert of some sort. Either Rocky Road ice cream or I'm getting like a chocolate shake. That's
There you
probably
go.
if I'm getting like a home cooked. I guess that those other two aren't really home cooked, but yeah. Or my dad's French toast is fire. Growing up, I don't know what he did to it, but it's so good.
Well, thank you guys for listening to the Elite Wrestling Club podcast. We hope you found today's episode valuable and enjoyed our exploration of Drew Foster. To stay connected with us, you can hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode. We release new content every Monday. You can leave a review on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and provide valuable content. You can visit the Elite Wrestling Club website and follow us on social media for questions, topic suggestions, or to connect with our community. If you love the episode, you can donate to us using our Elite Wrestling Club PayPal on our Elite Wrestling Club podcast website, which is elitewrestlingclub.store. You can click podcast, hit the podcast website button in yellow, where you'll see the donation heart in the top right corner. These donations help us continue providing weekly remarkable content for you, as well as improve your experience for future episodes as well. Exciting episodes are coming, so stay tuned and join us next time for more inspiration. Thank you for being a part of the Elite Wrestling Club podcast world. Keep exploring within to inspire others.